Hey, good morning, East Texas. Thanks so much for joining the CBS 19 Plus live stream. We're live on CBS 19 Plus on Facebook and on YouTube. We're going to give you a look at the week ahead. Spoiler alert, there is lots of heat in the forecast. Now, as we're getting up this morning, probably most of us are getting ready to head out to lunch soon, or maybe getting a later start on your day. Just some clouds are streaming across the area right now. Everything is pretty calm. But what I am watching right now is moving through southern Louisiana. That's where we're seeing all of this lightning and these storms near Lake Charles, moving along the Gulf Coast to New Orleans and then off to the east. So we had a few of those little scattered showers jump into deep East Texas before sunrise this morning. If you were watching with us on Morning Y'all, you probably saw me talk about those. But those are eventually clearing off, and we really won't see showers and thunderstorms again until the afternoon. Here's a look at your future skycast. We'll start to see these showers and thunderstorms pick up sometime after 4 p.m. That's when we see some heavy downpours, but very, very isolated thunderstorms. Everything that's coming through is going to be very hit and miss if you do see any rain. And if you get caught in one of these downpours, it will be very, very brief. So you don't have to necessarily worry about being a long time rain event. Just be prepared in case you need to turn on your windshield wipers if you're heading out late. And if you have any outdoor plans, just be aware you may need to pivot those inside in the event that you do get caught in one of these little isolated downpours. A lot of that clears out overnight. In the meantime, though, everything is just significantly calmer and nicer outside, especially after everything that we saw last week. I'm taking you outside in Nacogdoches right now. You can see all those puffy cumulus clouds in the sky. Everything that you're seeing that is one of these cotton ball looking clouds, that is a cumulus cloud. Beyond it, you can see little strips of those look like cirrus clouds. Maybe some stratus clouds way across the horizon, but most of us seeing those puffy fair weather cumulus. Temperatures right now sitting in the upper 70s. Breezes are coming out of the south, but that southerly breeze means two things. One, it's going to increase our humidity, and two, it's going to increase our temperatures. We get that warm, sticky air funneled into our area, and that's going to drive temperatures into the 80s this afternoon. We are looking somewhere in the mid to upper 80s, depending on where you are. Maybe some 90s popping up, especially in St. Augustine and Jacksonville. Tonight, temperatures drop down into the 70s. We're looking at 74 in Tyler, 75 in Jacksonville, 74 also in Groveton. We can't rule out some isolated raindrops overnight, but most of us will stay dry through the evening. Only about a 30% chance of rain is coming through. Tomorrow, the heat is on. We climb into the low 90s. We're going to keep around that 90-degree mark through the end of the work week. Overall, that is very close to our seasonal average. We're sitting about 90, 91 for the average highs this time of year. It is going to be a warm one, especially since we've had slightly cooler weather thanks to all the rain that came through last week. Now, the heat is all tied to this. This high pressure system is slowly but surely scooting toward us and really cranking the heat in our area. But it's going to slowly but surely scoot back off to the west, and that's going to open a little window for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms to pop up later in the week. There is a low end rain chance in the forecast every day just because of the amount of humidity in our air and the heat. When you have all that heat and humidity combined in the way that we do, there's a chance you could get these little fire up thunderstorms sometime in the afternoon and evening. Now, none of that is widespread and none of it is severe. The next thing that I'm watching, though, is on Friday when we may see a bit more widespread rain coverage. We'll keep an eye on that. So let me walk you through what I'm watching right now. This is Wednesday. Most of us are set to stay dry. We could see an isolated shower or thunderstorm here and there. But again, most of us will stay dry. It's going to be very, very isolated. Now, fast forward to the end of the week. We see a bit more widespread rain coverage as we get into the Friday area. But again, it's not set to be severe. Just some general run-of-the-mill summertime thunderstorms that we're used to here in East Texas. Now, in terms of rain totals, they could be a little bit heavier the farther south you go. So we're looking along the Gulf Coast. That's where you can pick up to 1.5 inches of rain, a little bit more if you're heading out to Louisiana. Here in East Texas, though, a lot of us are going to miss the bulk of the rainfall. We're picking up between a trace to about 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit more in some isolated areas in the farther south you travel. But again, a lot of the rainfall is missing us and traveling along the Gulf Coast in areas off to our east. Once again, though, we could see an isolated downpour. It is over a 7-day period. We'll continue to watch it. Now, as we look to the end of the month, because can you believe it, we are over halfway through June at this point. The end of the month may hold slightly more rain than average. We've already seen a very soggy month, and if you look at this green shade across the majority of the Lone Star State, that's where the Climate Prediction Center is expecting slightly more than average rainfall. We'll continue to keep an eye on that. This is about 8 to 14 days in the future, so we're giving you a sneak peek at what the weather might hold. But hey, also happening in the future, this one is sooner. On Friday, summer officially begins. That will be our longest day of the year. We have about 4 more hours of daylight during the summer solstice that we do during the winter solstice. So hopefully you guys can get outside and enjoy all of that sunshine. It will be warm, but we have plenty of sunshine, very low in rain chances as we get to the end of the week. All right, switching gears out to the tropics. Pacific hurricane season has been really ramping up. It's been going off with a bang. We have had a few scattered showers, this very broad area of low pressure, kind of that you can tell based off the circulation out there. We're continuing to keep an eye on this. There's about an 80% that this develops into our next named system in the next 48 hours or so. Will become what's called an invest, and that means where it begins to form, and the National Hurricane Center is watching it. But if it reaches that tropical storm status, what there is a possibility that it might, that would take the name Eric. Once again, this is on the Pacific side of things. It could potentially impact western parts of Mexico. So if you're heading out there for vacation, just keep that in mind. You may experience some rough waters and some rip currents along the western coast there as well. There was previously a little post-tropical depression that we were watching that was heading off to the west. That's cleared off, but very active start to 2025's Pacific hurricane season. In the Atlantic, we have yet to see anything that's reached that named status. So a little bit of a slower start there. But once again, the National Weather Service is expecting an above average season. So we'll continue to keep you updated. Locally, though, nothing too crazy in the forecast. Thankfully, we are near that seasonal average. We're not necessarily seeing all of that rain that came through last week, I should say. That's when we had all of the rain, all of the thunder, all of the downpours coming through. Today, there is a 30% chance of isolated thunderstorms, but that's going to be mainly in the afternoon and evening hours. Some of us will be at home for the night at that point, and it's going to impact some of us. We're looking at Deep East Texas with that. On Tuesday, high pressure scoots closer. That's going to warm things up, slides back off to the west away from us, giving us a degree or two drop in there as we have a slightly cooler rush of air. When I say cooler, I mean 1 degree cooler, but hey, I will take it. We warm right back up in time for Juneteenth. We're in the low to mid 90s at that time, but when you account for all the humidity, it will feel a little bit warmer. We're looking closer to the mid 90s for your feels like at that time. Friday, the first official day of summer. We are tracking some isolated thunderstorms that day. Most of us will be dry though. So if you're planning on heading out on the lake or anything like that, just make sure that you are staying aware. Remember, you want to stay inside if there's lightning in your area. When thunder roars, go indoors. It'll stay warm through Saturday, a slight cool off on Sunday as we have a little disturbance passing us by in the upper atmosphere. Still a low in chance of rain, but just a little drop in temperatures there. Thanks so much for joining us for the CBS 19 Plus live stream. We appreciate you being here. Hope you have a fantastic Monday and a fantastic week ahead. Thanks so much.